back, Stranger Family. This is another episode. In addition to that, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're from, listening. And I'm joined here with a very, very special guest. This one was very anticipated because I I had to keep that retention for a whole week. We planned this out since last week Saturday, so this is the show, and I am so excited to introduce the guest by the name of Vanessa. Vanessa, how are you?
I'm doing well, and I'm so glad to be speaking with you.
Yes,
We did sorry,
yeah, you got it.
we did anticipate it for a little while,
Yes,
but I'm glad
indeed.
that we were able to do it.
Yeah, and well spoken, right? I felt like a little child on Christmas, just waiting to open my Christmas present. Like I couldn't, just like let me peek. What do you, I was so excited, and I'm glad. And this is a very special episode to me because you are a literal, not literal, but you are a sister from another mother in the sense that we share the same Igbo culture. Like, yo, that's
Yes.
phenomenal, and
Mhm.
I look forward to this brilliant conversation. In addition to that, how has your day been? Like, what is the any new updates?
My day has been well. I usually take Saturdays to kind of like relax because Monday through Friday is a very busy time.
Okay.
So currently, like I'm working the two jobs right now. So I try on the weekends to kind of just like watch a show or like catch up on Love Island, things I
Yeah,
love.
of course. Okay, so I remember we talked vividly. The first time you met me, what did you kind of perceive as it pertains to first impressions?
Of you.
Of course.
Um, I would say like you were very open, like we were talking, you were pretty chill. You weren't too like crazy or creepy sometimes.
I appreciate that.
You know how like sometimes you meet people and it's just kind of like,
Yeah, weird vibes, right?
yeah, very weird, awkward. But I feel like we were talking kind of like we've known each other for quite some time.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Well said. I just try to keep this as organic, and
Hmm.
very intentional in my approach because this whole channel is about authenticity and creative expression. So when I see somebody that is just a spiritual thing, I can just feel like, wow, this is gonna be a good um, guest or just
Hmm.
a good dialogue to be had. Wow,
I love
brilliant.
that. Hmm.
Thank you so much. And then in addition to that, I will want you to like describe yourself to the listeners. Like, who is Vanessa? Like, what are your family dynamics like? And what are your upbringings like?
Yeah, so just a little bit about me. So I was born in Nigeria. I came here when I was very, very young, very young. So I've been here for the past years, like I'm about to be 30. So I've been here for quite some time. I live in Houston, so I enjoy it here. My family dynamic, I am the oldest, so
Mm,
that comes with a little bit of its own things. But my family dynamic is pretty close. Like I feel like I'm really blessed in the essence of when it comes to family because when I did come here, we didn't really. I personally don't want to say that we struggled really badly, but there were some times where it was like quite a lot. But family has always been important. Like my parents always show up. They always come through for every single thing. So my family dynamic is pretty good. Like I'm pretty close to my siblings. Um, I just feel like it's just been a great time. I feel just like every other family, you have some issues here and there, but I will say I am very blessed in my family dynamic. I do have quite some family in Houston, quite some family in the US, and also
mhm.
some family back home that I do feel like I'm close to as well. But that's a little bit about me and just how I kind of grew up.
Okay. Do you remember any like positive memories in your childhood?
Yes, there's been quite a lot. And I do say like even if let's say for example like my family wasn't really doing that well in the beginning, they never let us know as children.
Hmm.
It's always been more of like everything has been given to us.
Gotcha.
And it's never been kind of like the things we need, of course. Like obviously if
Yeah.
we want something and they can't give that, then that's that. But there's been many situations that have been positive.
Uh-huh.
Like, for example, like when I finished school,
Uh-huh.
when I finished high school, I had a graduation party. It was very big. It was in my home. Once I graduated college, I had a graduation party, very big
Wow.
at home. The thing about my family is we're really big on cut like trying to like have a party for anything,
Of
like any
course.
small thing that happens, we throw a party,
Yeah, yeah.
and they just like to celebrate anything that we have achieved.
100%. Well said. That's just the Evo culture, you know.
Yeah,
We're just party people, yo, like
yeah,
till the sun
that's
goes down.
true.
Yes, indeed. Okay, wow, that's really cool. So you mentioned that you arrived to the US at a very young age. How old were you?
I was 3 years old.
Wow. So you practically like this is you didn't have that like Nigerian influence, right? Besides your
No.
parents, you didn't live there.
No, and
Wow.
it's so funny because people will ask me like, "How did you learn Igbo?" Because you came here
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah, yeah.
early, and my parents don't really they speak it, but not really that often.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand everything. I can't
Dang.
speak it, but
Yeah,
I
yeah,
understand
yeah.
everything. But I
Yeah.
did come here at a very early age. I had an accent and everything, but that completely is gone
Yeah,
now, obviously.
proper assimilation. Let's do it. No, but that's so true though. Like your story is so parallel to mine because that's the same dynamic, right? You know,
Mm-hmm.
but the difference is that I lived in Nigeria for 11 years, right? And
Mm.
so that that definitely had um just a whole narrative on my perception of America. And also, I tell people this as a joke. Like, I didn't know I was poor until I came to America as a sarcastic thing because, like, there's only rich and poor in Nigeria, you know? There's no middle
Mm-hmm.
class. And mom
That's
told me, like,
true.
we're going to the Washington. I said, Washington, what? Like, we had maids, house helps that helped us do things, right?
hmm
So, that was a big culture shock. All right. So, how many,
I
just to kind of, sorry for cutting you off, but I just wanted to go back to your family dynamic. You mentioned your siblings, correct?
yes.
What's the ratio to boy and girl?
So in total, we're two boys, two girls.
Okay. And who comes after you?
My sister.
Okay. All right. And what were you gonna say prior to?
I was actually going to talk about like what you're explaining about like how it's a little bit different between here and there. Because I was just thinking about like when my family would tell me stories about people taking care of me.
Uh huh.
In Nigeria, and it's like probably like 10 people, you know, like
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
9, 10 people where it's like, oh, this person took care of you, this person took care of you, and multiple things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like once you come here, you can't, for the most part, you can't really get that type of help unless you
Mm-hmm.
pay for it for obviously, unless you pay for it, get a nanny,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
get someone to take care of you. So I think for my parents, I feel like they always state like that was kind of like a shock a little bit for them because it's kind of like you have to figure out how you're going to take care of these kids, even though you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to work 24/7, you
Yes,
know.
indeed. Yeah, that's very you know, vivid. Like just to know the struggle of coming from another
Mm-hmm.
country and always having that ability of family unity and
Mm-hmm.
just not being able to continue that process when you arrive to the US. The US definitely teaches you to
Exactly.
be independent and it just deprives you of that home feeling, right?
That's true.
Okay. So then would you say that your parents made a sacrifice for you guys to come over here?
100%, like 100%. They made a huge sacrifice. And I think that's why it's always very important for all of us as siblings to do well.
Mm,
Because it's like we're not going to, my parents sacrificed for us to come here. Why would we mess it up? You
mm-hmm.
know, so it's very important education, how we carry ourselves. Everything that we do is a representation of them.
Of course.
And just kind of like them bringing us here. We have to do something, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, to, you know, promote the name and leave the legacy that our parents will be proud of. You know, that last name, like we're all tethered to that, right? Everybody
Exactly.
is has that Igbo identity, and whenever people, other ethnicities or other races hear about us, they in a sense understand the type of mindset that we come with, right? Very
Mm-hmm.
competitive,
That's
very
true.
successful individuals. So we have to live up to that, I guess, you know, banner in that sense, right? To
That's
put it
true.
in layman's terms. Wow, okay, family dynamics is very interesting. And then, how was your, I guess, growing up in grade school in America? Like, how would you describe that?
Um, I feel like, so I will say like elementary school to kind of like intermediate school, because we
Hmm.
had elementary school, intermediate, middle school, or was it? I think it's elementary, middle, intermediate school, and then high school.
Okay.
So I feel like elementary to about middle school and then to intermediate school, it was a little bit difficult. It wasn't like the worst thing because I've heard stories of like things that are like 10 times worse of
Hmm.
what people go through. I feel like mine wasn't too bad, but I did get bullied when I was in those
Of
grades.
course, just
By
haters.
yeah, very much. And I still remember to this day the two specific people.
Hmm.
But you know, like it just comes with like being new and coming
Hmm.
to like a different place, you know.
Hmm.
And I am a very quiet person. So I think a lot of people kind of like look at that kind of like as a weakness. So when I was younger, I do think that people did like people in school specifically
Hmm.
did eat that up, like, oh, you know, like she's really quiet, like, you know, I can kind of like bully her and, you know, things like that.
Yeah.
But then as I got into like maybe high school, like things changed. Like I feel like in high school, I really did enjoy high school. I had quite a few friends in there.
Uh-huh.
I still do talk to a few of them, not really all of them anymore. And that's just simply with life, you know, like as life goes on, everyone, you know,
Yeah.
goes their separate ways.
Correct. The one thing that is constant in this life is change, right?
That's
100%.
true.
Okay, so what type of student would you say you were? Like, describe your academic attributes. I want to know.
I was that student like a teacher's pet. Like
Oh
that
no.
was me. Yeah, 100% that was
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I was scared to do anything that wasn't like on the books. I was like if something was due at like maybe on Thursday, I would turn it in on Wednesday. Like that's the type of student I was
Yeah, committed.
throughout. Yeah, I was very, very like focused because I just felt like I was always scared of like, oh, you know, like other people would be like, no, you can like skip class, you know,
Oh no, no.
you can skip school. I could never. And
Uh,
I've actually never told this story before, but like there was a time when I was like, I think in middle school
mm-hmm.
or it was intermediate school where I was hanging around some people
Mm-hmm.
that were I would say a bad influence, but it's fun at the time. Like it was so fun
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
to like do something that's out of like structure. So I would hang with them and we were friends. We were cool because I like to be friends with just everyone, to be honest. And then one day like we all share the same bus, like we go on a bus and things like that to school. Then one of my friends at the time was like, oh, like what if we just ditch the bus and then like just go to these apartments and like enjoy, right? And I think
Yeah.
like I don't even know how old I was at that time. I was pretty young, but
Mm-hmm.
not too young. And I was like, you know, like why not? You know, like I
Yeah.
do everything by the book anyways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Skip. Let me just skip this class or whatever and not go on the bus and we just go to apartments. So I followed her and this other guy, which was one of our other friends too, to these apartments. And we went to the apartment. My heart was beating so bad
I
because
know.
I'm
I,
like, oh my
I
gosh,
of course.
I was like, oh my gosh, like what if the police find us?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
like,
yeah.
oh, what if like my parents find me and
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. So once we got to the apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
In that specific apartment, they're zoned to the same school that I am zoned, but their bus comes a little bit later than us. So I was sitting there and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna jump on their bus and just go to school. And that's what I did. Like I was like, yeah, I tried, but like I have to go to school. So I did end up going to school. Obviously, I did come late
Yeah, yeah,
to school, but I just find that like a funny story because
yeah,
like that
yeah,
just kind of shows how what type of student I was. I was very nervous of
Uh-huh.
just like getting in trouble in any instance.
Uh-huh.
But all of that changed in college.
Of
I think
course.
college was completely a different ball
But yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah, the independent
Mm,
factor. And I think honestly,
yeah,
when you got nervous, that was that Ebo DNA, that Ebo gene that was kicking
yeah,
in. It was for real. Like you better not, you know? But
exactly. What if someone sees you? It's just like a whole bunch of things.
yeah. Okay. And I would like to talk a little bit more about that college transition. But I just wanted to
Mm,
say, as a oldest daughter, first child, there's a lot of pressure, correct, that comes with that.
yes.
So you
Mhm.
you had little ones that are watching your every move. So therefore, as a trailblazer, you have to make a good impression and leave a good blueprint for them to follow.
Absolutely.
Okay. Yes, indeed. Okay, so now let's go into college. What made you come out of your shell? Like, what did it? What was the thing that did it for you?
I think just kind of not like just being on your own.
Mm-hmm.
Like being on your own completely kind of changes like what you think about in like a day-to-day life. So for
Correct.
me personally, before college, right?
Mm-hmm.
I did not drink. I was not like really out all the time. I was really like focused on school.
Yeah.
I wasn't doing anything. And so then when I got to college, it was a little bit of like, oh, like, my parents are not telling me to come home at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm able to, go to Walmart at 3 o'clock in the morning, back when it was open 24/7.
Correct.
And I was able to do so many different things. And then I was like, it's kind of like, like when I always say like maybe when you've been eating like lettuce all the time and then you finally
Mm-hmm.
eat a burger.
Of
That's kind of how it
course.
was. It was like, oh, this tastes good. Like, oh, I
Like
can
the
go
Alice in the
out.
Wonderland analogy,
Yeah.
right? Like, yes, indeed, yes, indeed.
Exactly. Like, oh, I could go out, I can do this. I don't have
Mm-hmm.
to come home. So then it starts like I feel like you start just trying to like truly enjoy yourself.
Of course.
And I loved my college experience. I
Yeah,
wouldn't say academically, but everything else, like socially, I've
yeah,
met, like the people I've met in college, I am still very close to. Like they're
exactly.
one of the many of my close friends I met in
Yeah.
college. And I just feel like if I didn't go to that school specifically, I would have never met these amazing people that I have in my
Mm-hmm.
life. And I absolutely loved my experience there socially. Academically, that was a whole different situation, but socially,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
just enjoying yourself.
Uh-huh.
But I also want to touch down on the being the oldest in
Yeah,
this, even going into college, right?
exactly.
Being being the oldest is a very tough thing in general. I feel
Mm-hmm.
like if you ask anyone that's the oldest child, they'll let you know
Mm-hmm.
that it is a very difficult thing because everyone's looking up to you. And for school, like for college, right? My parents, I'm their first child coming here. They didn't know much about anything when it comes to college,
Yeah,
scholarships, all these things. You can ask people, but like they're not really like helping you as much as they could. And
of
so
course.
as the oldest, I feel like I was a guinea pig almost. So like I
Mm-hmm.
have loans, right? I'm
Uh-huh.
still trying to pay them off, but I have loans. I have, there's things that I had to go through my first year of college
Mm-hmm.
or multiple years of college that my siblings never had to do because I how things happen with me showed my parents, okay, what they need to do with the others. Like my siblings, because two of my siblings are in college now.
Uh-huh.
Well, one of my sisters, she's getting her doctorate.
Hey, okay.
Yeah, I'm so happy for her.
Yeah.
And then my brother, he's in college at UT. So they had I just feel like they had like scholarships, full rides, things like
Yeah.
that. And I feel like it's because they learned, like my parents learned from my like the mistake, like in
Cool.
regards to, and it's not fully on them,
Yeah.
but they didn't really know much. I didn't really know much. So I have all these loans, that I have to pay off. And then like my siblings, they're chilling, and I think that's kind of like how it sometimes is as an oldest child. Like
Yes.
you kind of like use the oldest to kind of learn,
The test the waters.
um,
Yeah.
test the waters, exactly. So
Yeah.
then it becomes like a really deep thing. Like I can go all on and on in regards to like being an oldest
Of
because it
course.
is something.
Yeah, yeah. I can definitely just hear from your explanation
Mhm.
how that, you know, had an effect on on your development growing up, just seeing that your little siblings didn't really go through the ringer as much as you did. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a testament to your character because through all that, like you became somebody. You know, you didn't let that um, define you, your
I
external,
agree.
right? So they're definitely grateful for that. I know they probably don't tell you often, but they are. They for sure because they know they saw everything you went through, right? So
Mm-hmm.
um,
Yeah, they're absolutely grateful. They tell me all the time.
mhm.
I think it's like, and I think that's why I sometimes like when I'm down or anything, I just remember that like, oh, these people are doing very well.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah,
like, a part of it might be because they followed in the footprints that I was putting in first.
yeah. Yeah, some people just need their own Jesus Christ. Like they just they just want their own Jesus. Like it's just that's the thing, you know. But you did fantastic in just the way you
Thank you.
explained it, and yeah, hell yeah, like there's no fault. Like this is just we're all on this earth, we're learning, and I'm pretty sure that your siblings have made mistakes of their own, right?
Yes.
That they can
Mm-hmm.
share with you, and you probably can learn from that approach. So now I would like to just dive into more insightful questions, right? So
Mm-hmm.
the first thing is this is a bit little, like a little political, but we were gonna chime on it because this topic is like the big elephant in the room, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, being a Nigerian American, right, and
Mm-hmm.
seeing other people that look like you that are not Nigerian
Mm-hmm.
pertaining to the Black American community, how does that dynamic? How did that dynamic affect you growing up, and how does it still have a correlation in your present life today?
I feel like mine is a little bit different. I can't speak for anyone else, but
Uh-huh.
for me, like I've had friends of all races,
Okay.
Black Americans, things like that. I've never felt any type of like any issue. Like I
Mm-hmm.
feel like everyone that I've been surrounded by, even any race, to be honest, well, most races,
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had any like issue. I know some people say like, oh, they've had experiences where like this person was kind of mean to this person, bullying
Yeah.
this person for an accent, things like that. I personally haven't experienced that. I still, till this day, have friends of all different races.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I don't really see that big of like a difference, to be honest. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm more focused on how you are as a person. Like if you're a great person, then we're good. Like we're fine. But if you're bad, regardless of what race, you could be Nigerian.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
bad,
Yeah.
I don't want to be surrounded, right? So for me personally, I don't think I've had any kind of like maybe like trauma or any like
Mm-hmm.
issues
Hmm.
per se with them. I feel like it's always been like a great time with everyone I've been surrounded by.
Wow, that's a good way of describing that. My, because in this era that we live in,
Hmm.
especially growing up in '08, right? This generation, there's a bit indifference between both communities, right? Where there's a stigma or something that they're less than or more than. You know, do you ever get that confliction where it turns into a political thing, like, oh, you guys think you're better than us, or vice versa? Like this conversations have been had throughout my
Hmm.
upbringings, right? Of
Hmm.
the different types of cultures and how we were raised versus to how they were raised. At
Hmm.
the end of the day, we all share a common ancestry. Go
Hmm.
back to that same lineage, and our history was just all deprived from us, right? So that's the
Hmm.
most important thing. Like we're all one when it comes to like
Hmm.
the the genealogy and
I agree.
everything.
Hmm.
When it comes down to the roots, like we're all one, and we need to learn from each other rather than try to
Yes,
destabilize each other.
absolutely.
Yeah, that's how
Absolutely.
I look at that approach. The black versus like Nigerian dynamic. Uh,
I agree. I personally don't like to interact with those conversations
mhm.
because I just feel like a lot of the times it is social media driven.
Of
Like
course.
it's more of like, oh, one person will say what they saw
Mm,
or one person will say what they seen.
mhm.
And then it just goes back and forth. And then it becomes like a generalization with all Nigerians.
Of
Then it becomes a
course.
generalized generalization with all Black Americans, things like
Yeah,
that. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
just feel like there shouldn't be that much of like an issue between these two people. Because personally,
Yes.
for me, that's why I don't speak on it because I haven't experienced that type
Yeah.
of thing that everyone is discussing.
Of course, and the knowledge and education also helps empower you to understand the
Hmm.
similarities more than the differences. Like I tell my mom, right, because she uses the word akata, and I tell her, "Don't do that, mom. Don't say that.
Yeah.
You
Hmm.
are stigmatizing the N word. It's the
100%.
same
Hmm.
delivery, right? Just like how the Caucasian race uses the N word is the same approach that you're doing when you say that word akata, right? So, and it means
Hmm.
cotton picker. So I said, Mom, do you know that 70% of every single Black American, right, like pure blooded Black American, has one common Igbo ancestry? And she's like,
Hmm.
how do you know that? Because, Mom, they're all derived from the western coast of Africa. The slave ships came from Boni Calabar right there, and therefore, they brought to them, they brought with them to the New World, uh, indigenous plant that doesn't grow here, which is okra, right? Okra soup.
Hmm.
So that
Hmm.
just show you that we have a very connective lineage with these people. It just got destroyed through transit and on purpose,
Hmm.
right? So I'm like, Mom, these are our folks, yo. These are our folks, and we need to just embrace them the same way we embrace our own, like, community.
I agree. And I feel like a lot of the times, like when you explain that to maybe like older Nigerians, it's more of like,
Yeah.
well, that's kind of how we describe them in our language, or
Of
this is how we describe them. And I always feel like there's always time for a change, even though you
course.
grew up with that word. If we're
Yeah.
telling you, like, here, like this is not a good word,
Uh-huh.
I feel like it should be kind of like put in your head, kind of like, okay, let me stop
Yeah.
saying this word.
That's true. And it just comes down to the dogmatic, like ingrained philosophy they got taught when they were little.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that, it's honestly a colonial mindset, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have been the same way the African American population in America has been degraded with their education, with their history and their culture, is the same way that we have been also diminished in Nigeria. The British came over there and did a number. You get me? You see Angola,
Mm-hmm.
they speak Portuguese. In them Papua New Guinea, they speak Spanish. And in Mali, they
Mm-hmm.
speak French. We're all the same fam. Like, what happened to us? And I
Mm-hmm.
I want to be a proponent and a big advocate to speak against um this type of incel discrimination and educate people more on the history, so that way we have more similarities than indifference, and we can do bigger things like that,
I love that. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Okay, so now the next follow-up question that I want to transition into is, do you still get culture shock in the US as a Igbo woman?
Um, I don't think so. I feel like
Okay.
in the beginning, yes, but I feel like now, I feel like everything kind of normalized, so a lot of different things going on
Yeah.
in the world. But I will say in the beginning, probably. But then again, I'm like, do I really remember? I feel like I did, but I don't really remember it per se.
Yo, I'm gonna put you on a fantastic story, right?
Hmm.
That happened to me when oh gosh, the story is so rich. All right, so this is fourth grade, right?
Hmm.
I'm in class. You have one teacher that teaches many subjects, right? So you don't have to go to different periods. You just stay in that one class. I think we're in math
Hmm.
session, and people are just talking. Like the class is rowdy, and one of the guys get called out by the teacher. Well, I'm gonna call your mom. So this is my first transition into elementary school here. The guy says,
Hmm.
"Man, you can call my mama. I don't care." That I'm like, "You guys are bold." Like in Nigeria, like, we shut up. Like they flug us, they beat us. So
Hmm.
I didn't understand that they don't hit children over here. So that was a big culture shock for me. And
I agree. I
yeah,
agree. Sorry to piggyback off of that because it just made me remember something. I'm like, that's so true because they'll be like, even now that I'm at my grown age,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I'll watch a video on TikTok of like maybe like a 5-year-old or 6-year-old
Hmm.
um cussing their parents out. And
Damn,
in my head, I'm like,
death.
is this like I can't even imagine
Yeah, yeah,
doing something like that.
yeah,
And then like a lot of people like consider it gentle parenting where it's
yeah,
like, like don't say that word, don't do that, things like that. And it really shocks me because it's like this person just cussed you out. You get 5 years old. is cussing you out? What will happen when they become 15, 16? Because now they're feeling like, you're not doing anything. So I can continue to like treat you like that. I think sometimes it's still very much a culture shock, a
Uh-huh.
little bit in regards to just like cussing your parents out at
Yeah,
5 years old. I
yeah,
can never get behind.
that is very true. And the way you mentioned that an aspect, I just think that America, it is a melted pot. It's just a mixture of every culture. So I still get culture shock to this day when I try new foods, right? Like different cultures. I just ate gyro the other like week. I've never had that type of
Oh, I
Mediterranean.
love it.
Exactly,
Hmm.
right? And also like the pop culture here, especially when it comes to mainstream culture like drugs. I didn't even
Hmm.
understand like drugs on
Hmm.
that level, on a deeper level than being exposed to living in America. Like it's so prevalent
Mm.
here, right? So that's another culture
Hmm.
shock. Like, wow. Have you experienced anything like that in your college career?
Absolutely. Like everybody is enjoying life in college, right? When I remember freshman year when we went to a party, like freshman year of college, I was I feel bad because I don't know if my parents will ever watch this, but when I was in
Shout out to
college,
mom and father. Yeah,
when I was in college freshman year, I was partying like it was nobody's business. I'm talking Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like, and then you wake up at like, you have a class at 8 a.m.,
yeah, yeah,
but you
yeah.
haven't slept all night. So you're probably like just showering and then immediately leaving from wherever you came from,
Yeah.
We partied quite a bit. Like maybe like freshman year, sophomore year, junior year is when I really started to focus because my grades were kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
so the first 2 years though, I had a time in my life. And so I would go to parties where people are like smoking marijuana.
Yeah, yeah,
They're, well, can I say marijuana on here? I
yeah.
can, right?
Of course,
Okay.
it's a
Okay.
free speech platform, yo. Like, be organic as possible.
Smoking it, and they're just like enjoying life, right? For me, I don't like the smell of it, right? That's just me
Mm-hmm.
personally, it makes me gag. But I was seeing all these people like having the time of their life,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in public, because in my head, like I was telling you, like in the very beginning, coming from high school to college, I was big on the books. I was like, oh my gosh, isn't this illegal?
Yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
how are
yeah,
you doing this in public?
yeah.
What if the police come? And arrest you. Like it
Mhm.
was like that's how I was thinking in my head, but I'm not gonna say it out loud for so that someone will never invite me again. So I'm
you
like,
don't want
okay,
to. You don't want to
cool.
sound like a
Like, you know
fed.
what I mean? I don't
Yeah,
want to sound like
fed
someone
behavior.
that is just kind of like not doing just not having fun. So I'm keeping it
Well,
in my head, but in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, what if the police come?
yeah.
And it's just crazy, a crazy situation. And I've seen many people do like different type of like drugs and
Mm-hmm.
things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was never into it. That
Mm-hmm.
like I was never into like those specific drugs just because
Yeah.
I don't know, I was just a little bit scared of like what will happen, things like that.
That's called the
And
Holy
I
Spirit right there. Okay, that's the Holy Spirit that's been ingrained in you since you were a child. All right, and that's really
yeah.
something that I would like to speak more about. Right, just the
Hmm.
culture in general. You said it the best, and that word that you were looking for, I swear, this one girl just she broke my heart when she said this to me. It made me almost like in a laughable way though, in a joking way. Like I almost cried. Like
Hmm.
bro, I was on Omegle during COVID, right, during the shutdowns, and I was talking to strangers online, and I remember talking to this person and telling her that, yeah, I'm from the suburbs, this and that, and she was, asking me questions about, oh, have you done this? Have you done? I'm like, nah, nah. She's like, you a square, bro. Oh my god, I almost died inside. I said, damn, bro, I haven't lived. I've just been in the confine of my vicinity. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
I get you. Like I can 100%, attest to every testimony that you're speaking about. Okay, so the next thing that I would like to just, chime in on is what is your view on the progression or the regression of the Igbo/Nigerian influence on the world?
Um, I want to start off by saying that I really don't know too much to have like maybe like a big like thought on it
Uh
per
huh.
se. The only thing I can speak on is the language itself.
Okay.
I feel like the Igbo language, like just because of the people that I know and like the people I've met, a good amount of people I know personally, because some people will say, no, not me.
Yeah, yeah,
People
yeah.
I know personally don't really know how to speak Igbo, right?
Mm,
Good amount does not even know how to understand it,
wow.
and I feel like when it comes to like the Yoruba people I've met personally,
Mm-hmm.
99%, maybe I met one that
Mm-hmm.
didn't know how to speak or understand their language.
Mm,
And that's just the honest truth of the people I personally have met or been around. And I just feel like maybe the language itself is more of like on a decline. But I do feel like now what I've been seeing with our generation and just people is that a lot of people are trying to learn. Like some people
correct.
are like, getting a tutor from
Mm-hmm.
somewhere to teach them,
Correct.
or they're trying to like gather how to do it. There's apps for it for you
Mm-hmm.
to learn Igbo. So I think that's the only thing I would say that I've personally noticed, is that like not many of us that I've met or been around know how to speak or understand Igbo. But I will say that people are trying to learn it.
100%. That's a good assessment on how you spoke about the culture, and this is my take on why our language has been deprived and just lost in translation. So, have you heard
Hmm.
about something in the historical marker of the Biafra War?
Hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
our identity was stripped from us. So I believe the Hausas and the Yorubas and the Europeans that gave them the guns, the Queen of England, right? They gave them the weaponry to quell the establishment and the progression of the Igbo race in Nigeria during the time of I believe like in the 60s or around that era. The Igbos were expanding in the east, right? They owned a lot of port routes, shipping routes, right? And this type of dominance and this type, because everywhere we go, we always money never neglects us, right? We're always profound and very prominent figures in every culture that we go into. So they didn't like that type of approach, and the Igbos didn't want to unite, so they seceded away from the Nigerian political structure. So the
Hmm.
Hausas and some of the Yorubas came together to say, okay, let's go get ours. Let's go disenfranchise these people, steal their resources and things of that nature. So there was a big war that happened, and obviously we didn't win the war because it was like a gang. It was like three people jumping on one person. You get me, right? But we stood our
Wow.
ground, and after that, when the Union, which was all everybody versus us, when they established and
Hmm.
they won the, I guess they won the historical marker. They
Hmm.
then removed all like Igbo identity from the community and from the government. So they
Interesting.
quelled us, and they kind of they their goal was to just put us in a can, right? And just conceal us. But the Igbo community still has prevailed because I spoke about the progression, right, in the Igbo Nigerian influence in the world. You can see now with our music, right, with the culture,
Hmm.
everybody wants to go to Nigeria or just learn a little bit more about the culture because of the people like the David O's, right, the Whiz Kids, all these
Hmm.
people, right? So uh, we just we're undefeated. Like it's in our spirit to thrive and to be remarkable on the world and leave a really massive imprint. So this
Hmm.
segues into now um, your visits to Nigeria, right? Can you
Hmm.
describe to me what is Dirty December for you? Yeah, yeah, I know, right? I got you. I like it.
Uh,
What does that
I
mean?
feel I feel like in the beginning, like because I've been going back to December. I mean, I've been going to Nigeria in December
Mm-hmm.
for quite some time now. But I will say each time was for maybe like a different reason, right? Like the first time I went with my family, that was definitely not during December. We were definitely in like the village for a good amount of time. Did I enjoy it? Yes, but it really wasn't the dirty December I was seeing, on TikTok
Uh
or,
huh.
on social media. So I was kind of like, oh, like I don't know if I really want to come back. But I realized there's a difference going by yourself versus going with your family. As much as I do love them, it's more of when you're going on your own, there's like a whole different vibe, like a whole different ball game. Because I also went to Nigeria for one of my friends' wedding, And I had like the best time of my life, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? But before, like the year, because the year before I went with my family, and I was like, oh my goodness, I need to come home. Like, and that was like, I stayed in Nigeria for like maybe 3 weeks. And I was like, oh, I need to come home. I'm tired. Like, everything's just like, oh, I don't want to see someone again. Because we were seeing people every single day almost.
Wow.
And so the next year when I went for my friend's wedding, I had a very great time because
Mhm.
I was on my own.
Mhm.
And my parents were like, "Oh, are you sure you want to go by yourself?"
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be with my
They're
friend."
just doing long
So
throats. They just want to
yeah,
come.
like, do you want to go by yourself?
Yeah, yeah,
Like they kidnap people. Like it's very scary there. But
yeah,
in
yeah.
my head, I was thinking like, but y'all go, But I
Exactly.
understand because they're more. They feel like, oh, I haven't been going for quite some time, ever since like recently. So it's like, do you really know like how to like? Do you know
Navigate. Yeah,
what to
yeah.
do? You know what I mean? And that's facts. That's valid. And so I was going like, so I've been going recently, quite some time. And I think it's really like enjoyment.
Okay.
I personally wouldn't say it's really December for me because I don't think I really do like the whole club scene or the
Mm-hmm.
whole like going crazy scene. I'm more doing like eating. Like I'm trying to find a nice restaurant to eat at.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to hang with people that I like to like enjoy. Like I'm enjoying being surrounded by these people. Or, going to places that I just find interesting. So I feel like I don't think I've yet to experience the dirty December on TikTok
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, go to a club at,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
5
yeah.
a.m.
Yeah, yeah.
or and then tomorrow you go to another club. I don't think I've experienced that, but I've definitely enjoyed my times when I went.
Uh-huh.
I immediately gained weight each time I went because of the food.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I eat, like I'm eating everything because everything tastes more authentic,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
yeah,
just the
yeah.
honest truth. So I'm like having the time of my life.
Yeah, it's so enriching. Like your experience, you're there basically for just a culture atmosphere more so than the nightlife entertainment. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a different approach because when I hear Dirty December, like the name implies like rated R, like we're getting crazy, right? So I really respect that approach that you took.
Yeah, because I also sorry to cut you off because I think it's more of like what you like to do on a day-to-day
Uh huh.
basis.
Uh huh.
Even if I'm in Houston, I don't like going to clubs either. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
not like a big like, oh, I want to go to Vegas so I can go to a club and things like that.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
personally, Houston, even being like a big party place and like clubs, everything like that, I'm not a big fan of clubs. Like maybe like a lounge here and there is cool, but I prefer maybe like a game night, things that are more like interactive or like just like
Yeah.
personal for me. So I
Yeah.
think mine is a little bit biased. Like, did I have like the opportunity to go to these clubs in Vegas or Abuja or all these places?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Did I want to go? No.
And 100%, you're being yourself, right? And that's what got
Mhm.
to the dance. So never forget that. Like you are yourself.
Absolutely.
The stuff that you're doing here is what you know, translated to doing in Nigeria. So don't even like beat yourself up. Like you're there, you're having fun, you're experiencing
That's
uh,
true.
the month. So yeah, my sister goes maybe like very often, but I think she hasn't gone in the past year or two. However,
Hmm.
though, I have never experienced that. But I know if I experience that, I would like to draw from both aspects of things, like nightlife and
Hmm.
also doing fun activities. I remember when I lived in Nigeria, we used to always go to the beach and
Hmm.
drinking moats and riding horses in the beach and eating suya.
Hmm.
That was our thing. That was life for us. Like riding
Hmm.
horses at the shorelines of the beach was just our little haven. So the club life, I really hasn't haven't experienced that much of it in Nigeria because I was young. I don't see trends on TikTok. I do like the music though. Don't get me wrong. Like when all these people come in, like
Hmm.
Asake, like Wizkid, David O, people of that
Brand
nature. Like I
boy.
like to just be in that atmosphere. So if they are performing at a nightclub during the nighttime, I might swing by just to kind of perceive and be around that type of energy.
Hmm. That's
Okay.
valid.
So who are your favorite Nigerian artists?
Oh, okay. So for a woman, I would say Ari Star right now.
Wait, she's
Uh,
Nigerian?
is she?
bro, I don't even know. Like that's crazy. I thought you were gonna say like Thames or something.
Mm, like I always feel like people kind of like attack me sometimes. I'm
You
not that
star.
biggest fan of Thames
Ah,
music. But like it's good, but it's not something that I would just like put on or
yeah, yeah,
play.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But Ari Star, I love her voice. She's very beautiful.
Whoa.
And yeah, she's Nigerian and she's just like I just love her voice. Like I can
Okay.
hear it from anywhere and know like, oh, this is her voice. And I think male, I would say it's close to a tie with Burna Boy and DeVito. I think it used to be Wizkid, but his performing
Yeah.
has went downhill so bad in my
Uh,
personal experience. But and Burna Boy and what's his
there's
name?
Rema,
DeVito.
Asake.
Oh yeah, him too. He's great because I went to Portugal with my friends
Uh huh.
a couple years ago and we went and we saw like so many performers at one time. I forgot the name of the festival we went to, but it was in Portugal and we saw DeVito, uh Ari Star was there,
Wow.
50 Cent was there,
I am genuinely surprised that Ari Star is Nigerian. I never, just the name like Ari Star. Like,
right?
come on now. But I get it, Ari. Like maybe a little bit. I could
Yeah,
get it. I could get it.
because maybe I'm not pronouncing it right. And maybe if they pronounce it right, you would know
Yeah, 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 yeah,
immediately.
yeah. I got you.
But they had so many people. Burna Boy was there. Like it was like a lot of performances all at once.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was like an amazing, amazing time.
yeah.
And that's when I realized like I was like, oh, these people, because prior to that, I don't really think I went to that many performances.
Mm-hmm.
But I think like that was like a great time to kind of like see the ones that I really do like. Because personally for me, I want to be very honest, I don't listen to Afro beats that
Mm.
often. So
Oh my
for me,
God!
it's
Get out!
like
They have her. They have captured her. Not explain.
I
Oh,
don't listen to it that often, but I could definitely vibe to it when I'm listening to it.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
like
Respect,
for
respect.
ex for example, if I go to a gym, that's not really what's in my ear at the time.
Yeah, yeah,
Or
yeah.
like on a day to day, it's not really what I'm listening to, but I
Okay,
do enjoy the music and I do listen to it sometimes. But
okay,
I would say those are probably like my top people, to be honest.
okay. Hey, no shade. I actually, like a unique perspective. Just because you're Igbo doesn't
Hmm.
mean like you're all in the culture. You're eating fufu. You're eating swallow.
Adding new lift
You
ride to
you
queue.
have a unique expression to yourself, and that's what I love about
Hmm.
talking to you, and also people that come to the show. Like I just want you to be as organic as possible, and I was the same way, right? Growing up here, I just now started tapping into my Igbo roots, like 25.
Hmm.
Like I just started, doing that stuff at the age of
Hmm.
25. But before then, I was just all into like skateboarding. Like what the heck? Like what are we doing? Like what? Wait,
You
wait,
were
what am I?
skateboarding? No,
Yes,
no.
yo, like Rob Dyrdek, Tony, the Rob Dyrdek Factory, them Ryan Sheckler, the other Nigel Houston. I used to watch these people like DG, Dirty Ghetto Kids, and I used to just this was my thing. And soccer was what I grew up playing in Nigeria. But coming over here, there was so much. There was such a plethora. There was a plethora of different things to get into. So I didn't want to stay one dimensional, right?
Hmm.
And I believe that sometimes in the Igbo culture, they always want you to be one dimensional, like just stay with me.
True.
So
Hmm.
I like that expression that you portrayed. That's really good. All right, so now I'm gonna get into some a little bit philosophical questions, right?
Hmm.
I would like to know uh, if you could go back to your adolescence, like a young age. What is the
Hmm.
perfect age that you would like to speak to,
Mm,
or your most approachable age
hmm.
that you consider speaking to?
Mm, I want to say what I could remember. I want to say maybe like 10, 11.
Okay, what would you tell young 10 or 11 Vanessa?
There's so much I want to say
Oh
because
gosh.
I feel like there's just so much
Yeah.
after, like, because I'm about to be 30, right? And there's
Hmm.
still, depending on who you ask, like,
Hmm.
I'm still very young.
Of course, we don't crack.
Um,
Stop playing. Come on now. When I
we
saw you in
don't.
person, I thought you were like 27, 27. What the hell? You know,
Yeah, we kind of, we don't.
we don't crack.
But I feel like what I would tell like my younger self at that time is more of like, do what makes you happy,
Mm,
and like focus on just kind of like being you, right? Because I feel like when we're younger, for some people, right? I won't talk for a lot of people,
mm-hmm,
but when you're younger, it's very easy to be molded with like,
mm-hmm,
oh, like if you see this thing, it's like, oh, maybe I should be a little bit like this, or like if you see something like that, oh, maybe I should be a little bit more like this because when I was younger, because I am a very quiet person, I think as time is going and I'm getting older,
mm-hmm,
I'm getting less and less quiet and less shy. But in the very like early stages, I was a very shy person. So
mm-hmm,
a lot of people thought that of like, oh, like, maybe something's wrong with her, like maybe like she doesn't really like to be around, everyone and things like that. But I would tell like myself at like 10 or 11 to kind of just like be yourself, you know what I
of
mean?
course.
Like enjoy yourself, enjoy things in life because as you get older, you start reminiscing about the past. Like I do it
Mm-hmm,
quite a bit
mm-hmm,
because it's like, oh, back then what you were like thinking about is more of like, oh my gosh, I really want this game. Can my parents buy this game?
mm-hmm,
Now it's like, oh my gosh, like I have to pay this bill. And
mm-hmm,
I'm trying to figure out, like, I'm stressed out. Like before it was like, oh, I had so much time to even watch TV to the point that I'm getting bored of TV, right?
mm-hmm,
Now it's like, oh, I have to fit in what time I'm going to watch TV. I just feel like at a younger age, I just felt like I was thinking about too much of like I want to say the future, honestly, and I wish I would have told myself kind of like enjoy that moment, like enjoy being younger,
of course.
enjoy being around, younger people,
Yeah,
like have fun and things like that. Because as you get older, it does get a little bit more difficult, even when it comes with friends, right? Like even me and my friends now, we have to literally plan
yeah,
when we're gonna meet each other and like
mm-hmm,
hang out but like back then, like even in college, your friends were next door. So it's like, oh,
exactly,
I'm about to come to your dorm today.
exactly.
But now it's like you have to literally put people in your schedule. And I feel like that's like something that I'm still trying to kind of understand because
Mm-hmm,
it is very isolating sometimes to have to
mm-hmm,
be like, oh, are you free today? But you're not
mm-hmm,
free. So are you free next week? By the time we're finished, we're all free in 2 months.
yeah, yeah, well said. And I think that's just the progression of adulthood. We can tend to be robotic at times where we're just, day to day. But then again, it's called the Michael Jackson effect, right?
Mhm.
Michael was a young child. I like to always use Michael because he was kind of you know, the the ideal inspiration to the back of this channel. Like after watching the movie the second time, I was like, oh God, I'm gonna do this. I'm really gonna do this. Never land. But however, though, Michael always worked as a young child, and when he became an adult, he wanted to captivate or capture his childhood again. So that's why he had a lot of silly things in his home and carnival rides and things of that nature that you don't usually see a typical mature adult having. So I think it's okay to feel like that sometimes, but don't be hard on yourself because you're now in a new stage of your life. Adulthood is beautiful, right? Like people depend on you, and you have you have that access to things that you
Mhm.
had if you were younger. So it's
That's
all a
true.
stage. It's all a stage, and just enjoy it. I also sometimes get conflicted. Like whenever we were making this schedule, I was like, "Damn, Saturday! Like I have to retain her attention." So everything I was
Mhm.
talking or saying to you, every time I spoke
Mhm.
to you via text message, was to make sure that your mindset, your mind frame was in a healthy space to have this dialogue and just retaining your
Right.
attention. Yeah, that's all it is. So we just have to find that balance between fun and
Mhm.
adulthood. Because I think sometimes we
That's
do
true.
we do too much adulthood and we forget about the fun. No, like splurge on yourself,
Yes.
enjoy. Like Dirty December, you're doing things of that nature, right?
Mhm.
So that's all
That's
all
true.
life is about. And I have many more segments I would like to speak about.
Mhm.
in this aspect, I just want to know, um, what are your trials and triumphs in this life,
Hmm,
past
that's
or
a good
present?
question.
Yeah, thank you.
Um, I feel like with trials, I want to say I don't know if there's something that's just so like crazy that I've been through, but I will say that like because I recently graduated with my health informatics master's. And during that time, for a portion of the time, I was working full time as well. And I feel like that was really, really like a very, very difficult time because it was more like I was thinking about, I really want to accomplish this because I really don't like failing at something. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a positive. I don't know if it's a negative. I do not like failing. And so for me, I'm like thinking to myself, like, I can't not complete this degree. Like, I have to complete it. And I feel like during that time, I was really stressed out. Like, my parents would even say, like, they were barely seeing me each day. Like, I was like in a very like crazy place at that time,
Yeah, yeah.
because it was just too much going on at the moment of time. Because once you get off work, working maybe 8 hours shift, you have to now do an exam or you have to turn in like a 13-page paper.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so many different things I was going through during that time frame. And I feel like it has just been it was a crazy experience, to be honest. But I was able to get through it. I graduated. It was a great time. And nowadays my dad asks me like, do you want to go get your doctorate? And in my head I'm like, I need space. Like I need a pause
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
I know how everything happened with my last degree.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot on me. So I
Mm-hmm.
would say that was like maybe a recent trial I can remember because I know there's been quite a few, but
Mm-hmm.
that's the one I can recently remember. And I think a triumph, I feel like I know like it's interesting to say, but I feel like in my life, when you have God in your life, a lot of things are triumphs that you didn't even know
Mm-hmm.
was gonna be one,
Yep.
right? And so I can speak on so many different things that God has done for me because I always say to myself, it's not me doing whatever positive thing that's happening in my life, it's not me. Like it's not me doing these things, right? Am I maybe helping or following his way? Absolutely. But God is the one that is giving me like these positive things in my life. So I will say like maybe um recently there's just been so many I don't even know which one to pick because it can also just be me graduating from that crazy time frame of doing my master's degree. I've been in multiple car accidents. I'm still alive.
Mm. Yep.
There's just so
Testimonies.
many different testimonies in life that you don't even realize at the time. But if you actually sit down and think to yourself, like
Mm-hmm.
the things that God has taken you out of,
Mm-hmm.
like it is emotional. Like it's a very emotional thing. And I think as I'm getting older, my relationship with Christ is becoming even more stronger, I would say, because it's just like I just think to myself with life, like without God,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see like I just don't know how life would be.
Of course.
And I always like I'm very big on I'm very big on putting everything to God. So I feel like for me personally, any triumph I've made, graduating from college, like I was saying, graduating from my master's degree,
Mm-hmm.
having a good job, having money coming in, like everything is a blessing, right? And there's so much triumphs that I can say all day, but I want to say that at the end of the day, I'm not the one doing it. That's
Of
just all I have to
course.
say.
All glory belongs to Him, right? And you said it.
Amen.
You said it well. Well spoken. And a lot of people think that everything just happens for a reason. No, no. God is an orchestrator of life.
Absolutely.
So a lot of people don't give us kudos, but you know, that's the Ebo gene in us. Like we're always going to glorify our Father because as a nation, as a culture, like we have been through the ringer, we've been through things. So and God has pulled us out, um, independently and also cohesively.
I
Pulled us
agree.
out of many. ordeals that we're facing in our life. So I can actually attest to this because something like that, something miraculously happened to me at the age of 12. I'm not gonna go into too much detail.
Hmm.
Just know that I had to be life flighted, right? And the doctor was like, "Yo,
Oh, wow.
one out of like 10 people survive what you survived, right?" So I'm here by the glory of Him, and I'm always going to adore and glorify His name every second that I can. And this is why I want to just mention my middle name is Emeka, right? It means God does
Hmm.
great things, and I know you have an Igbo name, and I would like to know what that means.
Yes, my name means God's time is the best.
Okay, and what is
Hmm.
the pronunciation?
Ogechi.
Okay,
God's time is the best.
God time is the best. That's fantastic. You see, like, do you see a correlation of how in the Igbo community we're always giving alms to our Father, especially when we're devoting them to our children?
Hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
fantastic. Okay, all right, Vanessa. How do you feel so far? Like, do you like speaking more about things that has
Mhm.
left the influence in your life, or are you just more just going with the flow?
I'm going with the flow. I feel good.
Fantastic. Okay, I like to know. I like to hear that. All right. So then the last couple questions that I probably have for you
Hmm.
pertains to just like in this life, right? Have you ever sacrificed something to achieve your dreams?
That's a good question.
Thank you.
I don't know if I've sacrificed something. I don't necessarily think it's anything crazy that I've sacrificed, honestly. I would say maybe like, I would say just going back to the master's degree, the only thing I feel like I sacrificed at that time is maybe a social life. But I don't think it's been anything crazy, like anything like my parents have sacrificed,
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
But I do think something small, probably like social life, to make sure that I graduate and I'm able to get that degree. Things like that, I feel, but I don't think anything really major, to be
Okay.
honest.
Yeah. So now I left this segment for you to kind of like freestyle. I would like to know, why do you like Love Island so much? Please talk about that. I want to know what are we watching? Please describe.
That is a wonderful question. I'm so glad you asked. Like,
Yeah, I really
I
want to
love
know.
I love everything. You know, like how something is so bad that is just so good. So I feel like with reality TV, right? And
Hmm.
I feel like personally for me it's like an escape, right? Because I feel like with my life is very boring. Like I have a very structured life. Like
Mm,
go to the gym, go to work, watch a show for some time,
yeah.
do this, go to my second job, things like that. And then
Hmm.
you're done for the day. So I like chaos, right? That doesn't involve me. So I'm watching shows like Real Housewives
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
Love
yeah,
Island. Like
yeah,
give me a little bit of like, oh, okay, like this life is kind of crazy.
yeah,
And so that's why I love it. I just absolutely love, I think with Love Island, what I love the most is like everyone's watching it at the same time.
yeah,
I feel like I wouldn't love Love Island that much if everyone wasn't watching it, everyone wasn't posting memes, everyone wasn't like coming together to actually like watch something so big. And I always think of it kind of like, like sometimes when like men or just anyone, a woman, anyone that loves soccer watches the World Cup,
yeah, yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh my gosh, everyone is also watching it with you. So I feel like with Love Island, it's a great time. And then like I have my brothers that are watching it now too. They're even more invested than I am. It's just like I just love that it's brought like everyone really together, even if we don't really have the same opinions.
Hmm.
It's just a fun thing. So I absolutely love it. I'm big on Love Island, big on like Real Housewives. I've watched most of the franchise. I'm just big on like reality. I won't say all reality TV shows. I'm very particular in the ones that I like. But overall, I love reality TV shows, crime shows, drug shows. Those are kind of my favorite
You like to live
things.
vicariously through the lens
Yes,
of the characters that are displayed. Okay, so now my thing is,
absolutely. Mhm.
what was the first thing that hooked you into Love Island? Like, what was the the moment that captivated you that you were like, wow, this show is actually a good time to invest into?
Absolutely. I will never forget. So, I'm trying to remember the season. I think it was maybe season 5, Love Island UK, where that's the season that drew me to Love Island. Absolutely. I want to say it's the best season I've ever watched so far. And I think what drew me to it was the amount of drama in there that was just so sophisticated drama almost.
Yeah, yeah,
And the twists and turns, I love things with like twists and turns and like kind of like game shows mixed
yeah.
with like, oh, like just drama.
The
So
drama.
I absolutely loved it because personally for me, I don't like drama in my personal life.
Wow.
I absolutely can't deal with it. So the only way I can really get a little bit of drama
Yeah, yeah.
is if I'm watching it on TV. So I feel like season 5 has so much drama. And I
Okay.
think I was watching it, I think randomly one day, I believe, and I was just trying to do it as background noise. And then I absolutely got hooked. And then I was like, oh, I need to watch more seasons. And then my family, my siblings would all come together and we would watch Love Island together. Then it became just it just became like a normal thing for us now where we all watch Love Island and also like Pop the Balloon on YouTube.
Oh God, no.
As a family, we watch it.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's kind of like our coming together. We
Exactly.
watch it to kind of like honestly laugh about it. It's nothing like serious,
Hmm.
but it's just small things like that where it's like I love the show because I'm watching it with other people.
Okay. So then, how much of that do you think is like a little fabricated or genuine? Of the shows that you watch.
I feel like I feel like half and half. I
Okay,
feel like the
50-50. Okay.
way, yeah, I feel like 50-50. I feel like a part of it, like some of these situations are happening, but I feel like producers are cutting and pasting it to make it look like there's way more drama than it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
maybe someone is arguing with someone, but the way they like formatted it or like pushed it together, it looks like 10 times worse than what it is. And a lot of people that come out of Love Island or out of reality TV shows will tell you that. Like that didn't really happen how it showed that it happened. But I'm okay with it. Like I know a part of me because people will be like, "How do you watch these shows when you know like it's fake?"
Yeah, yeah,
And in my head,
yeah.
I'm like, "How do you watch movies when you know it's fake?" Like
Oh, burn.
it's just really like the same,
Yeah.
you know it's fake going in, but you like
Exactly. The
it's
fantasy.
intriguing.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Fantasy aspect. I'll kind of describe a story, right? Pertaining to wrestling. When we came
Hmm.
here, wrestling was our thing. Like I'm talking about WWE, like SmackDown, Raw, that type of avenue. And we always used to order WrestleMania. It was mom, myself, and my brother Jimmy, right? Just all three.
Hmm.
That was our thing. We loved the Undertaker, John Cena, all that stuff. My sister was like me when it came to Love Island. She walked in the room, so we ordered the Domino pizza, the wing. We were chilling, like this is our a ritual, right? Watching WrestleMania. She walks in like, y'all know that's fake as hell, right? I'm like, bro, stop, like trying to destroy the fantasy. I'm like, boo, Stephanie, like move away. But I get you. I know why now Love Island is so captivating because
Yeah.
it takes you out of reality and it just it gives you a storyline to follow. Okay.
Hmm.
There's this one chick I saw on Love Island. She does the splits. I don't know her name,
Oh,
but
Kenzie.
oh
Oh
god.
gosh.
But I think she's a cool character just from the outside looking in, just seeing what she does, right? I think that's a
No,
very
you have to watch it. She needs to be out of the villa.
okay.
Like, absolutely, you have to watch it because she is a very interesting character, if I guess.
Yeah.
But she is also the most irritating,
Mm,
aggravating character on the show, to be
okay.
very honest.
You need people like that, spice things up.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay, so with that being said, Vanessa, any last remarks that you would like the viewers to know? Check any cliffhangers, anything that's happened in your life?
Um, I I don't think so. I think like I really enjoyed this conversation because I feel like sometimes I am a very shy person.
Okay.
So
Adding new Lyft ride to
I've been
queue.
trying like in this year or so to kind of like bring myself out of my shell because the old me or like a year before now, I would never have done this podcast.
Mm,
Absolutely.
thank you.
I would never have done anything that involves like anyone hearing what I have to say,
Yeah,
things like that. But now I'm trying to get out of my shell because I realize even though I am a quiet person,
yeah,
I do have a lot to say.
of course.
Um, but the thing is, I feel like I'm only quiet around people that I don't really know that much.
Hmm.
But once I get to know you, it's a whole different ball game. But I will say, like, overall, like, I think that what I've been learning now is just to be kind to yourself. So
Mm,
lately, I've just been trying to do things I love while also making sure that everything else around me is good. Because if you think about how many hours you spend at work, how many hours you spend stressed about work,
hmm.
it really takes over your life.
You're
So
right.
recently, I've just been trying to do small things that like make me happy or that just brings joy to my life while I'm still young, while I'm still alive, before other things come in place, like maybe a child, one of
Hmm.
these days, and things like that. Not saying like a child can't give you joy, but there's things that it's easier to do when you're, no kids involved. So I'm just trying to enjoy my life until, the next stage of my life comes.
That's a wonderful, fair assessment. I really enjoyed this conversation as well. And shout out to you for actually committing throughout the whole week, yo. Like this is a testament to your character, and this just shows me how, genuine of a person you are. And I wish you all the best in all your future endeavors. And
Thank
in
you.
addition to that, this was another episode